Hello, I'm Rod Sterling. What you're about to witness is an episode of The Twilight Zone. Back in 1942, the Hollywood Tower Hotel. It was rain, it was lightning, it was the opening of a brand new movie, a great world premiere of a movie. These 6 people went into an elevator and lightning struck. They were never to be seen again. But you will see them again through the power of the Twilight.
That was very good.
Listen, I cannot compare myself to the great Rod Sterling, but I did the best I could. Hello, everyone. It's Rod Sterling. We are live on YouTube. I'm with Phil and Florentin. Now, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is a ride off of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. There was a movie premiere, very huge, big stars, people you never knew. But there were 6 people that were important that are no longer here. It was a room called the Sun Set Room. It never had a sunrise, never had a sunset. It was frozen in time. Now, our host, Phil, is going to take you to that room now through the Twilight Zone.
Thank you, Rod Sterling.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Rod Sterling here. Glad to have you here. So as you can see behind Phil, that's the Hollywood Tower Hotel. And that hotel was a movie premiere, very big stars, people you never knew. But what you now know, which has been around for a long time, that hotel has had a soul beyond that premiere. 6 people went to the elevator, never to be seen again. And there was a room that never had a sunrise and never had a sunset. It is called the Sun Set Room. There is a haunted legend that we're going to learn about tonight. Our host, Phil, will take us there through the Twilight Zone.
Calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard, because in tonight's episode, you are the star, and this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
It may be a new, thrilling attraction at the Disney MGM Studios, but the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror has a very scary past. Join us as we take the plunge.
The Hollywood Tower. It opened way back in 1917 and closed 22 short years later. Why? Well, room service wasn't very good and the sheets were a little... No, wait, I'm sorry. think it had something to do with the mysterious disappearance of 5 people on October 31st, Halloween. What happened to those 5 people, and why is this place known today as the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror? And what about that terrifying 13-story faster-than-gravity drop? Well, we talked to comedian and amateur sleuth Gilbert Godfrey to get to the bottom of it. Get it? Bottom.
Doesn't anybody work in this place? I'm an important person. What kind of establishment are you running here? I can't believe this. Hey! Can you tell me where the pool is? Can you tell me where the gift shop is? Can you tell me where the other guests are? Can you tell me where you are? Oh, hi. I'm Gilbert Godfrey. And I'm wearing a fuzzy pink bathrobe. Come on, let's go solve the mystery. Nice effect. I think I'll change into something a little more uncomfortable. Hi, how is everyone? What are you people, tourists? First time in the big city, huh? Must be exciting. Anyway, this is the Twilight Zone Library of Terror. Ooh, spooky, isn't it? Anyway, we have to solve the mystery. How do we solve a mystery? By acquiring knowledge. And where do we get this knowledge? From a manual is one thing, but then you'd have to know how to read, and we don't want to bother you like that. So let's watch television.
Tonight's story on the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard, because in tonight's episode, you are the star. And this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
Wow, a personal invitation from Rod Serling himself. What more can you ask for? Well, maybe a pastrami sandwich, some coleslaw, and a pickle on the side. But we'll have that later on. Anyway, let's go. By the way, who picks out you people's wardrobes? This is obviously not the non-smoking elevator. I don't have a good feeling about this. Just follow me. Now I know what happened to those 5 people. You see, they all got in the elevator. The elevator went all the way up to the top floor, the very top. That's 13 stories. 13 stories high, all the way up there. And then what happens? Lightning hits the tower. It smacks into the tower, thus plunging the elevator down all the way into oblivion, where the elevator smashed into nothingness. And just an unrecognizable goop, because it's disgusting. Boy, that must have been terrifying.
That door is opening once again, and this time, it's opening for you.
For me? Thank you, Rod. What are we, outside? What is this? It's stars. Hey, be careful with that window. Oh, yeah. What is that, an eyeball?
You are about to discover what lies beyond the 5th dimension, beyond the deepest, darkest corner of the imagination, in the Tower of Terror.
You can just let me off anyway. You can just...
The next time you check into a deserted hotel on the dark side of Hollywood, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling, or you may find yourself a permanent resident of the Twilight Zone.
Oh, hey, I'm in a TV. I'm stuck in a TV. I've gone into the Twilight Zone. I should have listened to Rod Serling all these years. He was always saying you're passing into another dimension. Who listened to him? He was like a skinny guy.
You are the passengers of a most uncommon elevator about to ascend into your very own episode of The Twilight Zone. One stormy night long ago, 5 people stepped through the door of an elevator and went nightmare.
Me being chosen as the host of the Twilight Zone, they protected me for years, but this episode in particular, putting human beings in the Twilight Zone, scared me because people should have the free will to reject the option of the Twilight Zone.
Yes. Well said. God Sterling Lee. Yes.
Listen, I do the best I can. I can't listen. If anybody ever believes that, I did a decent job compared to that man, and I did a half of a good job, then I've done my job.
I think we'll take Braylon's yaff and use it as a villain's hand crab.
Oh my goodness! Yes, why not? Florentin, you heard me try to do a Vincent Price laugh last week.
Yes.
When I was like presenting Villain's Land, to you, when I was like getting the clips together for sound bites. But,
it's going down.
Yeah, this is all filming. And we're back.
Hey, I'm going to go.
Okay, we're back. And we are going to talk about
the Sun Set Room.
Yeah. That due to budget cuts was cut out from the ride attraction, which, it could have been great to have at the ride, once you get off the ride and stuff. So you could dine in the hotel. I mean, you can't stay in it, but...
Oh, really? So they really had plans to do this?
Yes. In the previous video, part 1, that we had recorded just a little while ago, you remember Disney Cicerone's video of the Sun Set Room?
I'm not sure.
It was at the end of the video of the introduction. I know I gave it a little introduction.
Oh, yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So...
well, I'm sure if Disney is all about the bars...
Well...
I'm surprised they haven't seeked for a bar there. An elegant bar.
Right? I mean, this is probably a nice idea I just am presenting tonight and everything, being that how they want to.
I'm not for bars, but I think there would make sense.
There would make sense. I'm not a fan of bars either, because I don't need a bunch of people, needing to call the police because they're like climbing poles and trees and whatnot. But
well, it would be more than the bar. It would be like a lounge or
that person I showed to you, which I'm not sure if it was an actual video of a guy swinging on a construction crane on Colonial Avenue. Which we're gonna have to show that to Braylon when it's
Sometimes
I,
I
I,
don't even.
I will say this. I do think that it would be very interesting with the extra magic hours if people could have like a private experience. Like once
exactly.
everybody goes back home, if you have extra magic hours, it's an exclusive experience there for the people who
Yeah,
come.
and my prompt is actually when I get to it, we'll mention about staying there
Oh, I
till.
can see a new revival of Samantha Brown's. He stays at the Grand Floridian again, and then she hops on a VIP minivan. Well, she can walk to the Magic. Wait, no, it's not Magic. She hops on a VIP minivan to Hollywood Studios, and she
Mhm,
after hours, like Brian said, and Samantha
yeah,
Brown uh,
mhm,
takes us
yeah.
to a toast, and she's all decked down, dressed for the occasion, for this soiree to remember.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Um, so here's inspiration images from what I used in the Gemini tonight. You got the lobby here. Got the patio here. Got this here. And here we arrive to the Sunset Room, which these doors are a facade. Nobody knows what's behind it. But as I had said, it was going to be a restaurant at one time. But for whatever reason, story goes, it was only going to be for dinner, which seems a bit weird to me. Like it was going to be only for dinner when you could have it for lunch and dinner. But, whatever. So create a restaurant behind the sunset doors in Walt Disney World. Behind these doors will be a classic luxurious um, Michelin star restaurant where you can dine in luxury like as you were staying in the Hollywood Tower Hotel in its heyday. Serves lunch during the lunch hours, dinner during the dinner hours. This restaurant will be called as the faded name implies, the Sunset Room. The view of the restaurant will be of the Tower, Hollywood Tower of Terror, lush, overgrown landscape slightly below the stone balcony and foreground end of the room. And here we go. Here's the some of the images here of what we have. This is the earliest image of what we got here.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is my first image here, but that's not the final one. I would love to see these fixtures, and I love the pattern on the ceiling. Wanted to make it bigger, but didn't make it bigger. And I called it names. Um, Here's an expanded image of it, maybe bigger. I wanted it to be bigger.
Yes, it's given Beverly Hilton Hotel 1930s with this energy.
So I wanted to add more to it. And picture this. You have a piano
Yes.
in the room with
And that
columns.
was actually customary entertainment. It was
Yes.
really about the musicians and the energy and the frequency of it. if I could take people from the 1930s and bring them into today, I wonder how they would feel with our hotels. Would they feel it's too technology and not enough humanity with, you know, waiters that talk with you and the bar, the piano, everything else. So
Mhm. Yeah. So we've now reached the final concept of what this dining room may should look like here. Oh crap! This is dang it. So as we had established, this is the dining room for the sunset room. What should be? I'm just presenting this tonight. So it's in its heyday, as you see in this image here. Something, you know, that it's kind of like defining like you're going back into time. Going back into the final night of when the hotel was open, Halloween 1939. So here's practically, you know, the concept. Sunset Room, a masterpiece of golden age gastronomy, located behind the legendary sunset doors of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Sunset Room serves as the crown jewel of the estate. While the rest of the hotel may feel frozen in a state of eerie decay, stepping into the Sunset Room is like crossing into a threshold back into Halloween night, 1939. Here, the glitz and tinsel town remains untarnished, and the service is as sharp as a tuxedo lapel. Atmosphere and design. The Sunset Room is designed to be the most exclusive, hard to get to reservation of all of Walt Disney World, rivaling Victoria and Albert's in prestige, but surpassing in its cinematic scale. The grand architecture. The room features soaring coffered ceilings, hand painted motifs, and gold leaf. Massive white marble columns with Corinthian capitals on the top anchor the space, creating a sense of permanence and grandeur. The view at the far end of the room, imagine this, is dominated by three massive arched French doors that lead to a stone balcony. Guests look out over the lush, overgrown gardens of the Hollywood Hills of the property, with its glimmering lights of the Sunset Boulevard visible in the foreground distance. The music, a polished mahogany grand piano, sits on a raised circular dais in inlaid marble. A live pianist, or not, performs standards of the era. Think Cole Porter, George Gershwin, and Huntley, beautiful renditions of We'll Meet Again. Palette is deep crimson, velvet upholstery, drips like linen, and the warm, flickering glow of the authentic silver candelabras. So here's the Michelin star culinary experience. The menu is a sophisticated reimagining of 1930s high Hollywood cuisine, prepared with modern techniques that have earned the establishment its coveted Michelin star. So here's a I'll get in more depth with this menu here. So here's a lunch and here's a dinner menu. A lunch menu is a lighter sun-drenched affair focused on the elegant garden to table courses. Signature dish of the lunch is the lobster Treadmore crepes, saffron infused crepes filled with butter poached Maine lobster and cognac cream sauce. The grand premiere dinner, hard to get to dinner. Well, I mean, I'm sure lunch will be hard to get to as well. I mean, it's sought after. A former multi-course tasting menu that demands your finest attire. Filet mignon, the tip-top beef served with truffle-infused marrow bone and rendition of a 1939 vintage port. Storytelling details with a Disney touch to remind guests that they are staying in the world's most famous, maybe haunted hotel. The storytelling is subtle and sophisticated. The ghost toast. Every dinner service begins with a complimentary splash of the Starry Night, a sparkling champagne cocktail that seems to shimmer with a ghostly iridescent dust. The reservations, the check-in podium features a arrivals ledger. If you look closely at the entries of 1939 of that night, several names crossed out in frantic blood ink. There are on the ledger. The lighting as the sun sets through the arched windows. The chandeliers just don't dim; they flicker ever so slightly for a fraction of a second, accompanied by a faint, distant sound of a lightning strike, before returning to their warm, luxurious glow. And here's, I believe, more or less the final image, or second to last final image of what it would really, really look like here.
Now, see, that is theming, because imagine if that room was real and the balcony was real and you could walk out and see Hollywood studios, people would actually come for that.
Exactly. So, the view of the far end of the room is dominated by three massive arched French doors, as we had established, overlooking the gardens below. Here is the gardens below. Let's get a cleaner image. No, I guess we don't have a cleaner image. I guess not, after all.
And I like that you're giving another option and another
Mm-hmm.
and an atmosphere for anyone who does not ever want to ride the attraction because
Oh yeah, exactly.
because for those who are not a fan of drop rides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my wife does not like. She rode the ride, and she did not want to go back on. What is that ride? I don't like the dropping ride. I do not like the dropping ride. So it's an experience that she will enjoy. because as you had established, not everybody wants to go on a a ride like that. Maybe.
I think that's a very good point, Florentin. You want to make sure that the ride is accessible. But I think it also adds another dimension because then you think about the waiters and waitresses, and you can ask them questions about the hotel, and it creates a deeper lore for that. Um,
That's why I'm surprised for the Muppets taking a rock and roll coaster. I'm surprised that they did not announce something else. Um, and not to say that in the coming time that they won't, unless they have a big surprise, a big revealing. Because if all they do is rock and roll coaster with the Muppets, and even I don't know about the queue, have all the animatronics and all that, the queue, and you can only do the queue if you're definitely going to do the coaster, because they're definitely going to need something else from Muppets. Because
they definitely will probably have like a Muppet stage show for the kids and cool off area. I think the biggest question that I would have for you, Phil, is when we talk about consistency with the theme, would there be a supposed owner? I'm using that in air quotes that would, you know, walk around the restaurant and talk with the guests, and they ask like, "So, hey, this, restaurant is wonderful, but why is the outside, not updated? Why does it look dusty and everything else?" So, would the restaurant, help expand the theme of the lobby to keep that cohesion?
Yeah, and come think of it, somewhere in the prompt, it is established that the guests will maybe ask if the staff noticed any ghosts, and the staff will look at you like all funny, like, "What do you mean ghosts? I don't know of any ghosts." So basically, they are going to stick to their theming of it's 1939 and everything is pristine still. What I understand, which does that make any sense for you, Florentin or Braylon? You want to get into this?
No, I think what you said makes sense. And like I said, I don't think if they did this restaurant that they should clean up the lobby, right? Because the
No, 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 no. I'm not. No,
the
this
lobby
is
tells the story.
yeah, yeah. This place as established. I'm not sure if I had mentioned it in the previous prompt before, it, like disappeared mysteriously on me. It had established that this place, the Sunset Room, is a time capsule.
Okay.
And everything, like practically, I mean, your hotel itself, as you get into the ride, is a time capsule, but it's all like weathered and dusty and stuff. But in this one,
Right.
you are going, everything is perfect and everything as it was, on that night,
Yes.
not dusty. Everything is like pristine, more or less like you just said, Rod Stone Lee. You're going into the fifth dimension, and you're freaking going into
Right.
the
Right. Right. Right.
39, as
No,
Rod
and
Stone did.
no, absolutely. And no, I appreciate this
Yeah.
perspective. And I only brought that up just to kind of challenge you just a little bit because I do believe that this really could be a good people eater. Whether
Okay.
you are going there to eat or to have a drink, I think the biggest thing is if the gardens are pristine and the restaurant's pristine, but the lobby and the elevator are not, could it create a clash of what's the theme, or could it be utilized to the benefit of one side is the pristine what used to be, and that's blending with what is now, and then that creates the Twilight Zone?
Well, I think in this room, as we had presented so far, is
Mhm.
what Rod Stolin's been warning us. We
Right.
are in fifth dimension, and we
Yeah.
crossed over into another fifth dimension by going into the sunset room.
Right.
So,
I
mhm.
hope my question made sense of
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good question
blending
because that's why
perfection
I have
and
you
the whole.
go on, so that the audience will like know, like, and others who maybe higher up will know, like, oh, this makes me think, like this, let's do it,
Yes.
selling points. hmm But yeah, this is the view of the from the balcony overlooking the garden here. Uh-huh. If you can imagine that, it's real pretty. Going back here. So behind the ornate faded doors and stands as sentinel in the lobby hotel. Lies the Sunset Room. For decades, these doors remained closed to the public, but as I had established minutes ago. The restaurant within serves a pristine capsule of the hotel's glory days. Unlike the dust-covered lobby, the Sunset Room exists in a state of eternal 1930s opulence, where the silverware is polished and the golden age never ended. As we, good thing Braylon had asked me, this is what answers his question. As we going to enter another fifth dimension by going to eat in the Sunset Room. Architectural splendor. The room is designed to hold 120 guests in that space. A balanced monumental scale of the intimacy of a private club. Marble foundations, as we had established, columns, central ceilings, and the coffin ceilings, period design, hand painted celestial motifs and accented real gold leaf shimmers under the light of the heavy iron chandeliers. Grand piano, as we had established, plays live jazz and standards, provide a sophisticated acoustic backdrop to the clinking of the crystal. And you have views of the balcony overlooking the haunting beauty of the hotel grounds. So, and you can see the Sunset Boulevard in far distance, maybe. As a premier star destination, it maintains the highest standards of the era, and we will get into talking about. Here's a closer image of where the pianist might, and that looks nice. It's going to be in the center of the room. No, what did I do?
Will be I made it up for you, a new intro.
Yeah. Hold on. Play it again.
Now, which
Go. That is really good. So here's the pianist in the center of the dining hall. That's where the pianist will be staged in the center of the dining hall or lunch hall. This is the dining experience, the candelabras, the glassware, but there's more details. The chairs are really good. I'll tell you that. Here's an actual image of in the room with the, imagine yourself dining here, having a romantic date or, a celebration. And here's the pedestal where the piano is, contrasting the floor here. But what if we make this piano play by itself? It's a thought I had wondered, to ask. Your thoughts on a self-playing piano?
I think that would add to the mystique of, are there actually ghosts? And then the cast is like, oh wait, that piano is actually possessed. Oh, something's not right here. Then that makes you want to potentially go on the elevator to find out. So I think it could be a good storytelling mechanic.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering this, like, what if, we go back, remember, we have the picture of this pianist back here. He's going to be during lunchtime, and then he leaves, and it's just like a self-playing piano after, the extra magic hours. It becomes a self-playing piano, You know what I mean? So it's a thought I have. So here's a Sun Set Room evening musical program. Musical atmosphere. That Sun Set Room is carefully curated to reflect the sophisticated tip-top lifestyle of the Hollywood Tower Hotel's elite residents of 1939. Self-playing piano, self-playing mahogany grand piano features a repertoire of grand standards, Broadway show tunes, and popular ballads of the era. So here's some of the listings of what could be played on the piano. As Time Goes By, Herman Humphrey, a nostalgic anchor for the room, played with a heavy romantic rubato. Anything Goes, Cole Porter, a bright rendition that captures the elegant, energetic glitz of the tinsel town. Summertown, George Gershwin performed with a haunting quality that echoes throughout the marble columns. The Way That You Look Tonight, a sweeping, elegant arrangement favored during the main dinner service by Jerome Curran. They Can't Take That Away From Me by George Gershwin, another. A playful rhythmic piece that mirrors the sharp as tuxedo lapel service. And Jeepers Creepers by Harry Warren, a popular hit from the hotel's final full year of operation. Signature closing of this as the dinner will be like, We'll Meet Again by maybe Berlin, or maybe, Ross Porter, Humphrey Charles, This final song played each evening as the piano keys move on their own to this hauntingly beautiful rendition of the room's chandeliers flicker slightly, bridging the gap between the luxury and the past and the mystery of the present. So let's describe the haunted variations of these songs that play if the guest remains in the room after the final dining scene. Like one last few people who are going to be in the room. You're like nearly by yourself in this room. So as the final guest departs and the clock inches closer to the witching hour, midnight, the Sunset Room undergoes a subtle chilling transformation. The self-playing piano does not stop, but the tone of the Golden Age standards shift into a twilight repertoire, distorted, echo-heavy versions of the classics that suggest the musicians never truly left. The twilight repertoire, as time goes by, becomes a melancholy loop. The tempo slows slightly, and the piano begins to skip certain notes, as if the mechanism is struggling against the decades of dust, even though we don't have any dust here. The middle C key strikes with a hollow metallic ring that lingers far longer than it should, creating a drone beneath the melody. This drone. Anything goes, a poltergeist rag. It becomes a cheerful imitation that becomes frantic and aggressive. The keys move with such velocity that they click audibly against the wood, and the song occasionally jumps into a minor key with single measure before snapping back, creating a sense of manic unease. Summertime, the lullaby, which is going to be a lullaby of the mist. The higher registers of the piano become muted and watery. A faint spectral reverb is added to the room's natural acoustics, making it sound though a piano is being played from a bottom of a deep well, or through a thick layer of fog. The Way You Look Tonight. This version incorporates the static waltz. The sound of a phantom phonograph. Guests might hear the distant hiss and pop of the 1930s vinyl record overlaying the live piano notes, occasionally the music slows down to a crawl, mimicking a big record player losing power before suddenly surging back to full speed. The final fade will be, we'll meet again. As the clock strikes midnight, the piano performs its most famous haunted variation. The keys move to play the melody, but no sound comes from the strings. Instead, the music is heard as a faint, distant, distinct choral humming that seems to emanate from the very marble columns and the conference ceilings. As the song ends, the piano lid slams shut of its own accord, and the last flickering candle of the silver candelabra extinguishes itself. Any thoughts about that one?
Very, for sure. I think by the time the piano keys close, I think everybody will figure out like, okay, we've been lied to. These people have been delusional the whole time, and we need to get the fuck out of here because this is not a pristine room. This is a spirit of a room that used to be, and we are in the twilight zone. We need to get the fuck out of here. So I think it's a great story. So yeah.
Yeah, well, this is, how we stay to. I'm like one of those people who will stay in a movie theater to watch all of the credits of the movie because maybe there's something hidden at the end of the movie, And this is basically a little something that will be only seen by the people who are going to be lucky enough to be the last ones in the room, when it happens. So only a few people will just see this happening in front of their eyes, while the rest of the crowd may not see this happen. So it's like, only a few people are going to see this happen, while the rest of the people may experience a normal experience, except for the lucky, or unlucky few who see that something is a little bit off key in this place. I should have listened to Rod Sterling a little bit closer. Anyways, so here's a sun-drenched luncheon martini service at the Sun Set Room, designed as a sophisticated lighter experience, contrasting the eeriness of the evening late night, services. Sunset, the elegance of 1930s Southern California, as light pours throughout the massive arched French doors. The dining room is transformed into a sanctuary of Hollywood's luxury. The Monte focuses on a garden-to-table approach, emphasizing the freshness of the lush, overgrown landscape visible from the stone balcony. The service is attentive yet airy, providing a refined respite for the guests looking to escape the hustle of the studio park. The first act of this menu, we're establishing the menu here, is the heirloom Hill Salad, a vibrant collection of microgreens, edible gold leaf, and citrus segments tossed in light champagne Fernet. Chilled a silky potato and leek soup served in a chilled crystal bowls topped with a dollop of caviar and fresh other greens. The main feature entrees, the signature dish is the lobster thermal crepes, the delicate saffron infused crepes hand folded around the butter, poached Maine lobster tails, and Guayuan cheese, finished with a rich cognac cream sauce and a sprinkle of tarragon. Seared pan-sea bass served over a bed of lemon-scented estro with grilled asparagus tips sourced from the hotel gardens. The Hollywood Star Quiche is a deep dish tart featuring caramelized onions, forced mushrooms, and flaky, buttery crust that melts on your tongue. The final scene dessert is a mild lemon tart, a sharp, refreshing tart with a toasted measuring peaks meant to mimic the sun setting over the Hollywood Hills. Petite Fours, 1939, a selection of miniature handcraft chocolates, each stamped with a gold leaf crest of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. The table experience during this will be with a heavy candelabras is replaced with a crystal bud vases holding a single blood red roses, self-playing piano, or maybe with a actual pianist, shifts its repertoire to an upbeat musical Grinchewin melodies, ensuring that the atmosphere of the Golden Age glamour without the haunting weight of the evening, late or night service is even present. So here's finally, you could dine on the balcony here. Ignore that tower in the background. Okay. But you can dine on the balcony, possibly. Enjoy the cool breezes, being outside as well, versus also being inside of the restaurant. So here's a picture of the dining table again, and here's the establishment of what the dining room looks like.
Do you think from there you can have like a special private viewing of Phantasmic?
Well, that's what I believe. That's what I've been thinking myself. Being that it's right there. We'll go back. Yeah, I believe so, indefinitely. Mm-hmm. And that would be a really nice, point to selling point for people who will want to dine here. Book in advance because you're going to have really good views of the Phantasmic show not too far away from there. And you may actually see in foreground far distance maybe some of the activities like parades and but you're gonna have a really good show of fireworks over there at Fantasmic. Indeed, yes. So does that answer your question, Florentin?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah,
It's just a curiosity.
yeah. Being where the Sunset Room is, as you know, it's over by the gift shop where you exit. And if you remember, if you ever went down to watch Fantasmic, you are going down a little slight downgrade of a hill. And right behind you is the Tower Hotel, the building itself. So you are kind of already in its backyard. Fantasmic. It's like the Hollywood Bowl building. That's what I always pictured the Fantasmic area being the Hollywood Bowl entertainment area. And then you got the tower right behind you. So this was a part of the tower's property at one time. Fantasmic. Okay. That's what I was imagined in my mind. I don't know what you have came up with, but that's what I looked at it as for ever time. So so yeah, Fantasmic is technically, as I believe, part of the Hollywood Tower property. So I gave a dinner menu right here, a grand premiere 11 course culinary odyssey meal for dining. As the sunset dips below the horizon, the flickering silver candelabras take their place on the crisp white linens. The sunset room transitions into a most prestigious state. The grand premiere is a formal multi-course tasting menu that celebrates the peak of the 1930s. High Hollywood glamour with modern Michelin-starred precision. So we call this course the overture, amuse bouquet. Unless you want to take over reading the menu, Florentin, so I can take a break.
Oh yeah, it'll be my pleasure.
Right. I mean,
Where do I start from the top?
Just
Oh, here on the overture, amuse bouche. The Ghost Toast, a splash of iridescent, starry champagne served in a chilled 1930s coupe. Or coupe. The golden coupe. Coupe. The golden age gaugère, a delicate Gruyere pastry puff topped with a single flake of 24K gold leaf. 24 karat gold leaf. Act 1, Chilled Beginnings. Beau Crab Sunset US. Dungeness crab meat layered with avocado mousse and a spicy tomato brandy reduction served in a carved ice bowl. Aspic of heirloom tomato, a crystal clear tomato essence jelly featuring micro basil and compressed cucumber, inspired by the hotel's overgrown garden aesthetic. Act 2 From the Sea. Scallop Saint Jacques. Hand-dyed scallops seared in brown butter and served in a natural shell with a decadent yeek and truffle puree. Dover Soir Meunier. A classic preparation finished tableside with Yemen brown butter and toasted Marcana almonds. Intermission. The Palate Cleanser. The Palate Cleanser. Starry Night Sorbet. A tart hibiscus and gin-infused sorbet that shifts colors from deep purple to sunset orange as it melts. Ooh.
Yeah, sherbet. I haven't had sherbet in a long time.
The main feature, Yand and Sky. Signature dish, filet mignon, the tip top, a center-cut Wagyu filet served with a truffle-infused marrow bone and rich reduction of 1939 vintage port. Pressed duck Hollywood, roasted duck breast served with a cherry clove glaze and wild mushrooms foraged from the estate grounds. And they really grow stuff there, do they? The final scene, confections. The 13th floor souffle. A grand Marnier souffle that is intentionally dropped, collapsed, tableside to reveal a molten chocolate core. I'll bet you Brian's go order that. Petite Fool Midnight. 4 miniature handcrafted chocolates served as the self-playing piano begins its haunting rendition of We'll Meet Again. The wine pairing detail. Each course is accompanied by a selection from the hotel's Lost Cellar, featuring rare vintages that have supposedly remained untouched since October 31st, 1939. Would you... Okay.
You're going to describe the midnight.
Would you like me to offer a beverage on the house?
Yeah, I'm actually hungry now. Sounds actually dang good. And
reading these is my favorite because it's so...
it challenged me. It challenges me to say the right things. That's why I gave it to you.
Oh, but you've been doing a great job.
I skipped over a few words, as you know, during lunch.
As the clock strikes 12 and the self-playing piano shifts into its twilight repertoire, the silver candelabras dim to a ghostly blue flicker. For those few guests who remain, the waitstaff, now moving with a slow, ethereal grace, present the midnight menu. This secret collection of appetizers for the afterlife features ingredients that bridge the gap between the living and the legendary history of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. The midnight menu, spectral starters, the vanishing carpaccio, razor-thin slices of Wagyu beef that have been cured in sea and salt and fog. When the cloche is lifted, a plume of chill dry ice vapor dissipates to reveal the meat, which is so delicate it seemingly dissolves on the tongue before it can even be chewed. Oysters sticks. Viewpoint oysters served on the bed of glowing bioluminescent sea salt. Each oyster is topped with a frozen tier of salad mignotte that crackles like breaking glass when bitten.
Charlotte Meunier.
Salad Meunier, yes.
Yeah.
Meunier. The Forbidden Garden Tart, a savory charcoal crust pastry filled with night blooming mushrooms and black garlic puree. It is garnished with herbs that have been wilted to look like the overgrown vines of the Hollywood Tower Gardens. Escargot in absentia, traditional Burgundian snails served in silver cells, but the cells are filled only with a rich aromatic essence of garlic and parsley foam. As you dip your bread, the foam collapses, leaving behind the faint, lingering taste of a meal that was never truly there. The elevator cider, a miniature brioche bun containing a single perfectly seared scallop. The dish is served on a small weighted platform that drops 2 inches as it is placed on the table, mimicking the sensation of the hotel's infamous service elevator. The final libation. The 1939 Word, a cocktail made with pre-war gin and green chartreuse. It is served in a glass etched with the hotel's crest, which appears to frost over from the inside, forming the initials of the guests who famously disappeared on that fateful Halloween night. A souvenir menu graphic. A souvenir menu? Compete with the faded ink in the October 31st, 1939 date.
Yeah. No, I don't remember if I made a menu or not. We'll get back to it. If I find a menu for it later, I will. But I'm not sure if I had, because I moved into the furniture that you will see in this establishment. The seating is of crimson and walnut. The chairs are primary splash colored in the room, designed for long luxury course meals. Dining chairs, hand carved walnut frames with a dark espresso finish. The backs are high and slightly arched, featuring a deep crimson velvet upholstery fastened with aged brass upholstery tacks. Banquets running along the perimeter of the room are plush, tufted booths, upholstered in the same crimson velvet. The wings of the booths are capped with polished mahogany, providing a sense of privacy. The piano bench, a custom-made extra-wide bench with a needlepoint cushion depicting the hotel's crest, HTH, Hollywood Tower Hotel, in gold and silver thread. Tables in linen and lace. While the structures are sturdy, the dressing of tables is what defines the Michelin star atmosphere. Table bases, heavy pedestal-style cast iron bases with tripod design, ensuring maximum stability for the fine crystal glassware. The linens, each table is draped in a floor-length heavyweight white linen tablecloth. A secondary sheer lace runner, hand-pressed and starched, crosses the center of the table. Surface carts, polished brass carts with glass tiers used for tableside preparations like Dover Salmonia or the collapsing 13th floor souffle. Did I say that correctly, Florentin? Just asking. Because I'm just trying. Accent pieces, marble and iron, to anchor the room's grand scale. Several monumental furniture pieces are strategically placed throughout. The hostess podium, a massive carved desk of
Variegated.
Variegated, yeah, variegated. Black marble with gold vein accents. It houses the Rivals Ledger, where the guest names from 1939 are still visible. The piano dais, a permanent architecture furniture piece, a raised circular platform made of inlaid marble with geometric starburst pattern is where the piano is. The sideboards, heavy dark wood, Kazintas.
Credenzas.
Yeah, I actually did say that correctly.
Yeah, you did.
Probably one thing I said all night. Sunburst carvings on the cabinet doors. These hold the extra silver candelabras and crystal bud vases used for Montaigne's for the matinee service. Lighting, the lighting furniture, silver candelabras, as we saw probably up on top, three sterling silver candelabras, mirrors finish reflecting flickering candlelight across the marble columns, floor lamps, tall iron floor lamps with amber glass shades shaped like unfolding calla lilies that are tucked into corners near the velvet banquets to provide a warm golden glow.
Candelabras.
Yes. Now imagine if the guests would see a floating candelabra at midnight, like, oh no, I stayed too long.
Or bring the free caballeros. Candelabras.
This place is haunted. I should listen to him.
Except the stuff that grows in the garden for the food.
Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Commission. So the furniture for this room is commissioned for the Hollywood, when it had opened in, well, it says 1929. Maybe, I won't try to disagree with that, I guess. When I see the cornerstone as being 1917, but whatever. These pieces are designed to bridge the gap between the rigid geometry of the Art Deco and the Romantic, flowing lines of the Spanish Revival style prevalent in Southern California's golden age. Oh, what I miss?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm missing something good, aren't I?
No, I just made something.
Okay.
Not yapping about any of the reading, no.
Okay. Yeah. I can pause anytime I want. The seating bespoke tip-top craftsmanship. Dining chairs, these chairs handcrafted as well from black walnut, featuring as well. You kind of already had expressed this already, haven't we? Yeah, we already had established.
I think you read this, didn't you?
Yeah, and then it repeated itself. I don't know.
Oh my.
I think I was not. I think I was looking for more detail, I guess, so that I don't know.
Oh yeah, here the HTH crest. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it just froze. But I think in this one, it did not mention any thing about like a wine presentation cabinets, which I did not do. I do recall. I skipped over it, so. Oh, it does mention about the carts here. It has rubber wheels, so it won't like make sound as it rolls across the floor. So.
Oh,
yeah. So there's going to be rubber wheels, on the carts. Because you want to, not have interruptions to the atmosphere, having the piano play and, theming of the room. Like, you're here in 1939. I mean, you want to really be immersed in this room. The tableware of this Sun Set Room dining experience is the final layer of the immersive luxury, with every piece of silver and crystal designed specifically to reflect the prestige and of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. These items are treated as artifacts of a bygone era, featuring intricate details that reinforce the Golden Age narrative. So here's our tableware here. That's on 9 table. I'm gonna have to check that out when I do this. Must be missing out something good.
Yes. Actually, I have another intro.
Yeah.
It has the elegant. It has the elegant Columbia Picture.
One go.
I put the portals, like Brian said, and there's a sign that says, well, it doesn't say closed, but it says, if you want to see what the sign says, I'm going to have to pull up the picture. Wait, I need to.
Yeah, if you see, Braylon's not able to speak right now, but he left you a chat, Florentin. He said, like, oh no, you don't.
I'm actually waiting for.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Good to see you all. Oh, man. I have to say, I love the presentation. I really, just a great fucking job. Just one thing. Fuck no. Okay? Fuck no. No. Get the fuck rid of it. Okay? I don't know if you were trying to get revenge on me because I screwed over Olaf, but there is a line, there's a limit, and there's a button you don't push. Okay? Fuck no.
Right.
There you go.
I know, but Brian, that's what MJ was saying. In 20 years, you're gonna see the portals are epic, iconic.
No. No.
Resuming. So, are you excited to hear about the glassware? I know you are, Florentin, because this is really nice. The Starlight crystal glassware. The glassware is crafted from heavy leaded crystal that catches the flickering light from the silver candelabras. These have signature etching. Each glass features a delicate frosted border near the rim, consisting of a repeating Art Deco sunburst pattern. The stemware of the wine and water goblets feature a stem carved to mimic the columns that are found throughout the dining room. The hidden insignia on the base of each glass, the feet with the initials etched in the way that is only visible when the glass is tilted toward the light. The initials being of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, HTH. The 1939 Champagne Coupe for the Grand Premier Diner, champagne is served in wide brim corpse, etched in celestial map of the stars as they appear over Hollywood of that fateful, infamous night, October 31st, 1939. So here we go with the silver cutlery.
The tip-top silver cutlery. The flatware is made of heavy, sturdy silver, balanced for the format, multi-core service expected of a Michelin star establishment. The handle design. The handles of the forks, knives, and spoons feature a geometric step-down design characteristic of the 1930s high-fashion architecture. The Master Crest, a deep relief casting of the Sunset Room logo, a sun setting behind a stylized Hollywood tower, is positioned at the very base of each handle. The commemorative stamp. On the reverse side of the dinner knives, the date of the October 31st, 1939 is stamped in the classic serif font, serving as a subtle reminder of the room's furniture frozen timeline. The specialty utensils, individual butter knives and lobster picks used for the lobster thermidor crepes, feature handles shaped like the hotel's vintage skeleton keys. The fine bone china. The border. Each plate features a crimson and gold leaf rim matching the room's upholstery and the gold leaf found on the coffered ceilings. The centerpiece. The center of the dinner plates remain as pristine, crisp white to highlight the culinary art, but the bread and butter plates feature a full-color illustration of the Hollywood Tower Hotel in its untarnished prime.
So here's an entire of the white staff, and here we go. Staff of the Sunset Room served as a living extension of the room's 1939 timeline. Their uniforms are a far cry from the bellhops of the lobby, while the lobby staff wear dusty maroon and moss of the hotel's, abandonedness. The restaurant staff wear crisp, high contrast formal wear of the five-star establishment when it was at its zenith, when it was still open, of course. But remember, you're going back into 1939. You are going into the fifth dimension. Ooh. The Montre del Hotel, Guardian of the Ledger. The Mate de stands as the most formal figure of the room, dressed in a style that commands authority and old world respect. The attire of a full black morning coat with silk-faced lapels worn over a white piquet waistcoat and a stiff collared shirt. The details hand-tied silver silk caveat held in place by a pull pin on a left lapel. They wear a silver gold pin shaped like the whole Hollywood Hotel's key. The presence that they are with is that they have a pocket watch on a gold chain, which they consult frequently throughout through it's rumored though it's rumored that the watch stopped approximately on the fateful time of when that fateful event happened that Halloween night. The captains and the servers of the restaurant, they're tuxedo sharp professionals. The servers move with a precision that mirrors the Michelin star service. Their silhouettes are echoing the sharp angles of the Art Deco furniture. The jacket, a short-waisted white dinner jacket with a black shawl lapels, this summer formal look was the height of the Hollywood fashion for the very high-end evening service of the 1930s. The trousers, high-waisted black wool trousers with a double silk stripe running down the side, hemmed perfectly to rest the top polished patent leather oxfords. The accessories of these servers and captains are a crimson silk bow tie that perfectly matches the dining chair upholstery, and white pocketed square folded into their three crisp points. The gloves of the service are white cotton gloves throughout the service, ensuring that no fingerprint ever touches the crystalware or the tip-top silverware. The sommeliers, the cellar keepers, tasked with retrieving the lost vintages of 1939 from its lost cellar, have a more industrial yet refined look. The aprons of these people is a heavy black leather lap apron worn over a standard black tuxedo. The leather is embossed with a Sunset Room's Sunburst logo. The Testvan around their neck hangs a traditional silver tasting cup on a heavy chain, which they use to verify the quality of the rare vintages of wine before they pour the wine. The twilight shift, though, is a different, element to the service. As the clock passes midnight, the midnight menu begins this, and the staff appearance undergoes a subtle, unsettling change. The color drain shifting blue light under the candelabras, crimson of the bow ties appear to turn a deep bruised purple. The stare of the staff making direct eye contact, their movements becoming slightly more rhythmic and mechanical, as if they are performing a memory of service rather than the service. The sound spreads among the floor. Footprints become completely, maybe silent leaving only the sound of self-playing piano to maybe fill the room. So here's images of the furniture of the room here. Now, kind of, I think the walnut here is supposed to be on the back side, but of this. But it's nice. That's the chair that you will find. Just I think the upholstery is kind of reversed, and the walnut should be in the back in this image, but So here's a picture of the circular booths of mahogany, for privacy that you could find maybe in the room or different room. It's a work in progress. It is all done, by the way. So this is a booth you can find in that room. And here's the piano bench that you have. Look at the detail, it's real nice. Got the HTH crest there. Real nice. The tables are, unlike standard restaurant furniture, these tables feature heavy cast brass bases molded into the shape of intertwining vines. This design mirrors the overgrown aesthetic of the gardens visible throughout the French doors from the balcony. And this is real nice looking. I don't know why. I don't know. Florentin, you looking at this one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
What is that?
That's a table. That's a table base.
But is it like a tree branch? No.
It did say that it's mimicking the garden.
Oh, I
In
see.
the balcony there. See in the foreground the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the surface sideboards, topped with a slab of same white marble used for the room's columns. The cabinet poles are custom cast silver in shape of the Hollywood Tower Hotel's signature keys. The skeleton keys. So here's what that looks like. It looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another image actually of the table base. That looks probably even better, actually, come think of it. I like it. I like it probably better. I like that in my house. Oh. That table.
Not for me.
Not for me? No, it's for me. It's for me. I like it. It's awesome. It's great. I like it. So here's the signature ledger podium for the room. Maybe not in this room exactly, but I moved this podium to a more established room in the next prompt coming up. But here's the ledger mantelpiece. That's why I said different location. I place it not in this room. This room becomes something that you're going to see really soon. Okay? Just wait for it. Ta-da! Well, not this room, actually, no. It goes in this room. It goes in this room. Now, this room is before it gets furnished by me, but yeah. This is the check-in area of the Sun Set Room. Before I furnish the room. So serves as a waiting lobby as a transition of the hotel's faded grandeur into the preserved luxury of its premier dining establishment. The windowless atmospheric space is designed to feel like an exclusive 1930s private club, where the passage of time is measured only by a flickering of amber light against the mahogany walls. The architecture atmosphere, the wainscoting on the walls, the lower half of the walls are clad in dark, hand-polished mahogany wainscoting, while the upper portions feature a textured aged plaster finished in warm ichor. The ceiling, a massive covered oak ceiling with deep recesses, provides a sense of enclosures and intimacy. The lighting of this waiting room, the space is illuminated by heavy iron Gothic lanterns hanging from the coffers, casting soft pool-like glows onto the floor and avoiding any natural light. Wall art is of large floor-to-ceiling tapestries depicting tropical sunrises and lush gardens are hung between these structural pillars to provide the sense of view without actual windows. Kind of like what we have over in the similar to what we have over in the Sun Set Room. And if you look closely, it looks like you got the Hollywood Tower and the tapestries. I'm just saying. So here's the lobby furniture, ledger podium carved of single block of marble, black and gold, very serves as a focal point, holds a heavy Bibles book positioned precisely at the interior threshold of the dining room doors. The Twilight wingbacks are of a high-backed, tufted wingback chairs upholstered in which midnight crimson velvet are arranged in intimate pairs throughout the lobby, with occasional tables, small circular pedestal tables made of dark walnut and bass rim tops set aside the seating, each holding a single flickering candle and a crystal votive. The central divan, a central velvet turf ottoman divan, sits in the center of the room, often topped with a silver and glass display case housing the vintage 1939 menu. And then we have some storage and trunks scattered near the alcoves of this are stackable leather-bound steamer trunks embossed with the hotel's logo, HTH, serving as a both decor and makeshift tables. Maybe, if we decide to make it so. Let's see. The sunset doors are massive arched double doors made of carved walnut and iron and ornate iron scrolling above the archway. The hand-painted ribbon banner reads Sunset Room in its classic 1930s script font. Floor accents are of a large weathered stone urns flank the entrance holding tall dark green fan palms that cast long dramatic shadows across the terracotta floor tiles. Would you like to see the lost belongings display often found in the lobby, featuring the items left behind by the guests of the night of the incident? Well, I don't know if I did make an image of that. So here's the chairs in the lobby and the table. Real nice. That's within the room. And here is a display of the vintage 1930s menu on display in the center of the room. What would be in somewhere in the room here of this lobby, waiting room, cozy. The cards of the table say oh, okay. We bounced back to the dining room here. We'll go back to the dining room real quick. Any thoughts before I continue back into the dining room here, which is basically just the images of the cards and other furniture?
Well, I love it.
Here's the cart that is in the dining room here. I'm guessing this is like I don't know what that is, but it's nice details all through the
Can we
car.
pause? Can we pause the show for a second?
Yeah, I will. Florentin, catch you soon.
Catch you soon, Phil. Catch you soon, Brian, and catch you soon, everyone.
Yep. As we continue, Florentin's got other dates that he has to go and see, and so he will revisit us on a later time tonight. So see you later.
Bye.
Yep. So as I said, this is the cart for the room. And these are the glassware for the final layer of immersive luxury of the bygone era. So here's the what that would look like. At the details of the Hollywood logo here and the other details on the glassware.
Hey, I'm still here.
Yep.
And like I said, great job on everything. The silverware, the menu, very, very detailed. Very proud of you. Definitely put a lot of work into it. And I love the fact that we all understand the assignment because that was the real deal reaction of that picture. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah, look at this here.
yes.
Look at that. You got
Oh,
the
I see the detail on the forks and the knives and the spoons. Very well done.
Yep.
So
You got the skeleton key knife. You got the Hollywood Hotel
yes,
embossed, printed into the silverware here. The spoon and the fork and the dinner dessert forks, and
yes. But no, great job. I'm still here and doing the other thing, but I'm still here. So, but great
yeah,
job, great job.
yeah. But okay, continuing on. The fine bone china. Now this is a masterpiece. One that I would love to have this in my house. I know you would too. Yeah, this is the fine embossed china that your food may come on, will come on, actually, matter of fact, in the Sun Set Room Restaurant. So you're surrounded by the customized silverware and the customized glassware as you dine in luxury, as if you were in the 1930s. You are the star of the show. And this is the staff of the room that serve as living extensions of the room's 1939 timeline. Their uniforms are a far cry of the bellhops of the lobby, as we had established a little while ago. So here's a uniform of this fella. He's got the pocket watch here. It's stuck on that fateful night time when the elevators were struck. Here's an updated image of the lobby. More furniture is going to be put in this image. But as you can tell, very nice. And there he is, standing in the room. As he is going to look at the ledger and check you for if you're on the list, and he'll let you in. And you're going to be treated as a star. Here is the waiting staff of the Michelin star restaurant of the Sun Set Room. So he's got his white coat and tie and, white gloves, a professional, luxurious, themed theming for waiting the tables. And in this room, which I'm going to introduce, will be a lodge, which we're going to get into details about. So we have an option of going to the restaurant and going to the lodge. And this is the guy you'll see in the lodge area. Because in the lodge, they serve drinks and snacks in the lodge. So you can experience like a little snack before you head back into Hollywood Studios in here. Just like how I remember I could stop on in to the I forget the name of the place right now. It's at Mission Space. Over at Mission Space, there's a restaurant there, and you could be let in if you wanted to. If you wanted to wait for that long to have a little snack, have a little drink, and go back into the park. It'd be more or less like that here. A guest experience plus after riding the Tower of Terror ride. I mean, so we've established you could have dining here for lunch and dinner, and you could just stop on in here, which I'm going to detail further after with this image, that you can have pass on by, have a little refresher of snacks, and have a little drink if you want, before you go back into Hollywood Studios. Here's the full-fledged lobby. Here's what the check-in lobby looks like when it's all set with all of its furniture together. Ain't it nice? If I do say myself. So before we go into the lodge, let's explore the kitchen. The chef's kitchen of a Sunset Room functions as a high-pressure heart of the establishment, designed with the same architectural rigor of as a dining room, but stripped down to a functional, industrial, streamlined, modern aesthetic. It remains perfectly preserved in its 1939 state, appearing as though the entire culinary staff simply vanished mid-service. The architectural integration of this kitchen for, the Sunset Room staffs, okay, will have walls and surfaces of that. The walls are clad in floor-to-ceiling cream-colored subway tiles with deep maroon grout lines mirroring the hotel's primary color palette. The tower range, the central cooking suite of this kitchen, is a massive custom-built iron stove with brass fittings. Ventilation hood over it is shaped as a tiered Art Deco skyscraper, reminiscent of the Hollywood Towers Hotel's own silhouette. The flooring of the kitchen, unlike the dining room's marble, is featuring heavy-duty terracotta hex tiles with non-slip finish etched with this initials of the hotel crest HTH at the entrance of every walk-in cooler or walk-in of the kitchen. Windows are non-existent, of course, here in the kitchen. Instead, the kitchen utilizes internal windows, high frosted glass panes that allow amber light from the lobby to filter in, creating the petrol sunset glow in this kitchen. Thematic culinary stations. The layout follows a strict hierarchy of the 1930s Michelin-starred kitchen, integrated with hotel's bespoke craftsmanship. The saucer station features a delicate marble top counter for preparing the signature midnight port reductions. The copper ports hanging above the stations are all embossed with the Sunset Room Sunburst logo. The garde manger cold station, for simple terms, positioned near the service doors, is a station that features a built-in annex marbled slab used for paleting cold appetizers. The refrigeration units are finished in polished chrome with heavy vault-style handles shaped like the hotel's signature keys. Kind of like probably out in the dining room area. Signature key handles. The chef's table tucked into the private alcove. This high glass black lacquer table allows certain elite guests to watch the service being prepared right in front of their eyes. People who are curious, maybe who want to know, how to be a great cook. The seating of here consists of small versions of the Sunset dining room chairs with crimson silk velvet upholstery. The stucco time details of this room, the kitchen, to reinforce the narrative that the kitchen is caught in this 1939 incident environment. The details of this environment remain present, which is that the order rail is a long silver rail, holds several yellow paper tickets of a last ticket on the rail, talking about the Grand Premier Diner for 5, dated of October 31st, 1939. The prep work detail is of a silver bowl of heavy cream sits at a workstation, partially ripped into a stuffed peak that seemingly frozen in place, never soured. The clock at the top of the stove, that is shaped as mimics the silhouette of the hotel top, with the gold leaf of the ATH logo hangs above the service pass, like the pocket watch had stopped. At the same time, its hands too are frozen at the time of the fateful incident that happened that night on October 31st, 1939. The chef's kitchen image. So here's the image of the kitchen here. Stuck in time, as I have established, as the rest of this area has been stuck in time, in pristine condition. This is where your chefs for the Sun Set Room can be. If you notice at the bottom, there's the initials of the hotel right there in the center of the room, in the middle of the terracotta tiles. And there's the clock up there, frozen in time. Here's a culinary station of laid out. Here's an example of one of the stations here, as you can figure. And here is the cold station, positioned near the surface doors. Features a built-in marble slab used for plating cold appetizers. The refrigeration units are finished in polished chrome with heavy vault-style handles, as of looking like keys. So there's that. This is your kitchen, once again. Details. A chef's table, so for special guests, will be, positioned here. So you can watch the chefs and cook your favorite meals, or the CEO can come in and watch the chefs cook, or the park's president can come in and watch the chefs cook, or Florentin, Braylon, and I can come in and watch the chefs cook. So moving on. As mentioned, the details of Stuck in Time. Here's a close-up details of it here. Here's the whipped cream here that's frozen, and here's the clock stuck on the time when the incident happened at the hotel. And here is some of the notes for the guests left behind. So they were serving guests at the time when it stopped and left immediately. And I mentioned about, we already had established the midnight menu. This might be a little bit different, maybe not. Roast. No, it's the same as before. Okay. Artifacts of the final service. Evidence of the menu's preparation can be found throughout the chef's kitchen. As we mentioned about the left behind details. The wine pairings of the simulators had selected from the Lost Adventures of 1939 go with menu. These pairings are of Overture pairing 1928 Pillow Roger Champagne, served in a wide brim corpse etched with the 1939 sexual map. This vintage was chosen for its crispness to balance the rich watercress and Pinot Purpure of the oysters Rockefeller. Signature entree pairing, 1934 Monterey Cut Burgundy wine. This full-bodied white wine was selected to match the decadence of the Maine lobster and cognate infused garnier cream sauce of the lobster thermidor crepes. The roast pairings, 1939 Chateau Latour Palette accompanied the filet mignon Rossellini. These summoners chose this powerful red wine intended to withstand the intensity of the foie gras and the midnight port redemption. La Dessert final pairings, 1921 Chateau d'Yalom, Châteauneuf, for a flam-baked Alaska entire premier dessert wine was selected to provide a honeyed finish that complemented the toasted manger and fruit elements. The surface details, the crystalware, every selection of this is poured into the starlight crystal, as we had seen up above, what they look like. Magnifique. Beautiful. Temperature controlled beverages are transported from the cellar to the table using the polished brass carts, which featured etched glass maps of the 1939 hills on its top shelf. Which, okay, that's what was featured earlier, which I'm not going to go strolling back, but if you want to go back, you can see that beautiful map. That's what it looks like to be the top of the carts. Verification before a single drop is poured, the server that serves these uses their silver cups to verify the quality of these rare lost bottles of this hotel. So you want to go to the restroom, there's restrooms for the lodge and restaurant. Here's the details that you'll find in the restaurant. As we get into describing, which I'm only halfway to way through. The vanity walls. The architectural atmosphere of these bathrooms that you find in the Sun Set Room / lodge, that I'm going to present the lodge very soon. The architectural atmosphere and the materials of this bathroom. Vanity walls. The walls feature floor-to-ceiling polished calculated marble with veins of gold and gray, framed by dark mahogany crown molding that matches the wainscoting in the waiting lobby where you had came in from before, where the greeter meets you. Flooring of this bathroom is an intricate mosaic of black and cream marble tiles in a geometric Art Deco sunburst pattern echoing the logo found on the dining room's fine bone china. The ceiling of this bathroom that you will find in the Sun Set Room, men's and women's, let's establish that. A smaller scale version of a coffered oak ceiling seen in the lobby provides a sense of intimacy, with each recess painted with a subtle gold leaf. Illumination comes from frosted glass and bronze Art Deco sciences shaped like tiered skyscrapers, casting a warm, flattering amber glow that mimics the petrol sunset of the main dining room. The signature fixtures and details of this bathroom that is here in this area features elements are treated as high fashion artifacts of 1939. The basins, deep rectangular pedestals carved with the same black and gold integrated ox marble as the leisure podium is in the waiting lobby. Hardware of this room are that the sinks and the faucets and handles are made of heavy polished brass, featuring their same geometric step-down design found on the tip-top silver cutlery, as we seen just a while ago. The mirrors, as to are a massive silver-backed mirrors etched with delicate border of frosted Art Deco sunbursts, identical to the pattern of the sun's starlight crystal glassware. Vanity seating, small tough stools upholstered in midnight crimson velvet are provided at the vanity stations, matching the twilight wingbacks of the waiting room area. But there's more storytelling in this room as well. Stuck in time elemental storytelling to reinforce the 1939 narrative of October 31st. Lost items are placed throughout the space, including the attendance station. A small mahogany desk sits near the exit, holding a silver tray with white cotton gloves, the same kind that are served by the servers, and a stack of linen towels embroidered with the hotel's crest, HTH. Lingering scents, the air is purposely lightly scented with vintage gardenia and sandalwood perfume, a popular fragrance profile used by the starlets of the 1930s are scented here. Abandoned artifacts here are on the marble vanity, a gold-plated lipstick tube and lace-trimmed handkerchief remain within the women's room, as if it was set down by a guest attending the grand premiere diner. The soundtrack, unlike the rest of the hotel, the restrooms play crystal clear, non-distorted recordings of the 1930s jazz quartet, suggesting that this room, the incident has yet to occur. So here's a room. Here's the restroom area. One of the images from the restroom area, as you can see here. Stuck in time details found here are this. And here's the abandoned artifacts that are found in the room, the women's restroom. And just for the heck of it, we made a soundtrack for the bathroom as well. Source of the music is hidden in high-end speakers integrated in the coffered oak ceiling, providing a seamless surround sound experience. Soundtrack of the restrooms are a vital component of the stuck-in-time narrative. Contrast to the warped, ghostly audio found in the rest of the establishment of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. The musical arrangements are an ensemble of the soundtrack features live recorded 19 jazz quartets consisting of double bass, hollow body electric guitar, a soft brushed snare drum, and a lead saxophone. The style of this quartet plays a sophisticated mid-tempo dinner jazz that would have been appropriate for an elite social club of the era. The atmosphere of the music is rhythmic and warm, reinforcing the perpetual sunset feeling of the room rather than the eerie afterlight atmosphere found elsewhere throughout the hotel. The immersion of this thematic significance by removing the echo and crackle effects. The soundtrack acts like a psychological anchor for guests, convincing them that they have stepped back into the hotel's zenith. As we had established a while back, you are stepping into another fifth dimension, as Rod Sterling had warned us about. Narrative of the lack of distortion suggests that the incident has not as yet occurred or has been successfully kept at bay with its detailed century. So here's what will play in restrooms, performances. Stardust, 1927, a dreamy, wandering melody that mirrors the perpetual sunset glow of the amber of the room. Deep Purple, a 1930s high society ballad. Its lush harmonic shifts suit their calypso surroundings. Body and Soul, 1930, features a slow, sultry saxophone lead that emphasizes the stuck-in-time luxury of the space. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, a hauntingly beautiful melody that feels intimate and private, ideal for a windowless retreat. 1939. Moonglow, a slightly rhythmic, bulking tempo that highlights the brush snare of the double brass. I'm in the mood for love. A warm, romantic, closer reinforce the feeling that the incident is far yet away. Technical implications. The transition is that each song is separated by 3 seconds of dead air. Not a crackle of a record, but clean silence of a high-end 1939 broadcast. The loop of the tracks are arranged so that the end of the I'm in the mood for love resolves perfectly back into the opening notes of Stardust, creating a seamless, never-ending cycle of pre-war elegance. Audio levels are of a mixed mid-heavy, prioritizing warm tones and hollow body guitar and saxophone that ensure the sound doesn't feel tinny, because you want to be immersed, not like against the hard marble surfaces. So it asked me a while ago, did you want a smoking room? I said to myself, yeah, you know what? Let's make a little enclave, but no smoke, no smoking allowed. But this is like a little private area up near the bathroom, so I established it. Describe the smoking lodge, even though no smoking allowed. It just remains of what it was back then. Now, talking about immersiveness, okay, and the brand of cigars that would have been found there. The gentleman's smoking lodge near the bathrooms, situated between the lodge and the restaurant area of the Sun Set Room, is a masculine atmospheric alcove tucked just off the main restroom corridor, as I had said. It serves as a final sanctuary for guests to enjoy a digestive or browse on phone, let's say, not smoke, before returning to the grandeur of the grand premiere's festivities in the dining room. The atmosphere of this room is a midnight paneled walls, unlike the marble of the vanity area. This alcove is clad in floor-to-ceiling dark walnut paneling. The wood is polished to a mirror-like sheen, reflecting the dim amber light. The seating of this alcove, two oversized Chesterfield armchairs and deep tobacco brown leather face, each other across a low marble topped table. The leather is aged but meticulously conditioned, showing no signs of dust or decay seen in the hotel lobby, as an example. So it's pristine, like as everything else. It's a time capsule. The floor is a polished hand-tufted Persian rug in shades of indigo, and burnt orange covers the center of the room, dampening all sound and creating a hushed, private environment. The lighting of this alcove, a single low-hanging Art Deco pendant with frosted green glass shades, hangs over the table, casting a moody emerald tender glow that cuts through the lingering tendrils and smoke. Now, here's the details of the cigars that they would have been smoking in that room. The brand of like Tip Top Select Hollywood Private Reserve would have been like made of Spanish cedar, visible through the glass panel and the walnut wall. Each cigar is wrapped in a cedar sleeve embossed with the crest of the hotel HTF. Details on the marble table sits a heavy crystal ashtray with the Sun Set Room Sunburst logo etched into the bottom of the crystal ashtray. Beside it is a silver-plated table lighter, remains fueled and ready when it's ready to be used, its mechanism polished to shine. To reinforce the continuative narrative that the lodge and the restaurant is already establishing, that it's stuck in time and there's artifacts left behind of that fateful day, or infamous day, rather. The lodge contains evidence of a conversation interrupted. The abandoned drink, a crystal lowball glass containing 2 fingers of a 1925 Highland single malt, sits on the table. Actually, a thin, perfectly singular condension ring has formed on the marble, frozen in place of many, many years of, or not, because we are stepping back in 1979, or have you? A half-smoked cigar, a tip-top select vest on the edge of the ashtray, a long, delicate pillar of ash remains attached to the end of the cigar, defying gravity but never crumbling. The newspaper is a crisp, unyellowed copy of the Los Angeles Times, dated October 31st, 1939. Lies folded on an armchair with the headline, "Hollywood prepares for glittering Hollywood prepares for glittering Halloween night." Yes. And yes, they were. So here's the room without the artifacts. As you can see here. Here's the stuck-in-time artifacts, as had mentioned. The newspaper, the condition, the rings from the glass left behind for many years, and the Hollywood paper. Hollywood prepares for a glittering Halloween night. With, if you look at in the image here, is a picture of the Hollywood Hotel. If you look very closely, I'm not sure if I can get any closer. There we go. And this separate room from the Sun Set Room Restaurant is the Sun Set Room Lodge Bar Room. Create the details and feature details, including the pictures of the esteemed Golden Age actors that hang on the walls. Well, I think we've covered enough thus far. I've been talking. My voice is hoarse. And Braylon and Florentin has been here the whole time.
Hey, everybody.
Yep.
No, I will say this. You have done a magnificent job of giving a color and a character and a connection to this room that I don't think anyone has done. I didn't know about for really ever until you said something. I'm sure I've probably seen it in the past, but as you know, what we do at BFP Imagineering, Braylon, Phil, Florentin, um, Braylon, Florentin, and Phil, rather, bringing forth potential Imagineering is we do this, right? Um, we give the meat um, to the story. You know, in the words of Walt Disney, we are restorers. We are restorers of order with imagination again and again and again. I think you have restored a room that never had a purpose.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. So well done to you on that.
Yeah. And credit to Disney Cicerone for pointing out this was something that was going to be at the Hollywood Hotel. You know, I caught her short video, as you know, just a month ago today, or maybe a few months ago. Anyways, credit to her because without her, I would not been inspired to like this should be done, you know, and she was intrigued about watching this video, so we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can send a message of this one to her. She'd be like, "Give me more." So,
Right.
yeah. Anyways, stay tuned for part 3.
Yes, indeed.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Stay
No
safe.
problem. And I really meant what I said, man. You definitely have given um, some great context here, and
Yeah.
you know, like I said, every tour that I've done, it may not have a purpose now, but that doesn't mean it will never have a purpose.
Well,
Um,
dreams never die, and
yeah,
you see that all over throughout Disney when um, they all have old concepts from long ago that they bring back 30 so years later. You
yes.
see throughout the Disney's company's history. So
No, it's funny. I did a fake press release. Now I didn't post it because one of my friends, she works in PR. She said, Braylon, it's a great idea, but you do not want to get sued by Disney for a press release that they did not approve. But it was going to be called the Disney 100 for 100. So it was going to be 20 ideas from each age group. And those 100 ideas would have been actually realized by Walt Disney Imagineering, and they would have been made a reality for the 100-year celebration. Of course, Disney, not knowing how to celebrate, missed out on the opportunity.
yeah, of course.
But imagine 100 fans with 100 dreams, and those could have been from attractions and rides to new TV shows and movies. Like that would have been a celebration. And
Absolutely.
like that's in the Hall of Fame of ideas. Like only those 100 will ever be actually made by Disney. Basically, take the fans' idea and execute it beat by beat.
Absolutely. Well, as we head on out, stay tuned for part 3.
Yes.
This hotel we see here. And see you real soon.